Diddy is on his fourth lawsuit for abuse, assault, among other things, in the past recent weeks, and there have been blind.
Diddy is on his fourth claim for misuse attack in addition to other things in the past ongoing weeks, and there have been visually impaired things and reports that he has mishandled and attacked men too. Here is another visually impaired thing. I suspect the soon-to-step forward male survivor of Say Bye. This elite magnate won't be the last man to do so. And again, this is purportedly Shay Diddy comes you being a terrible kid at one point. What is your opinion about these claims blaming Diddy for our misuse? What is your take on the UKN, and did he do believe he can do that, man? It's in his personality, that is what his identity is, that accompanies influence, that accompany pomposity, that accompanies you understand what makes him see. It seems like we're trapped in a perpetual circle of the enduring Diddy series, and it's not dialing back. Bry Dark just gave it a shot, supposedly recording an incredible $100 million claim against Diddy, as well as Will Smith charging some serious unseat. Emily Conduct hang on the grounds that is not the finish of it. The roads are presently humming with claims that Diddy supposedly did likewise to rapper YK Osiris. This dramatization just got going, and it's more out of control than anybody might have expected. You all better bounce on this dramatization on the grounds that the dramatization is giving. It's a gift from Satan, so quit saying that it's a divine being favoring, cuz you all continuously discussing these rappers we discussing and giving. You all this large number of moronic dumb discussions gracious this God favor. What God believe you should do, no this not what God believe you should do. You go through this, Satan give you this cash, go through this to obliterate yourself. This isn't God favoring Maya. Okay, so assuming that you all felt that the enduring Diddy period was over, you better reconsider on the grounds that we've been hit for certain new disclosures that are much more insane than anyone might have expected. For as long as month or so, claims have been flying a Diddy from each course, and there were hints that more individuals would step forward, spill the tea, and uncover him for a few truly sketchy activities. Well, turns out those clues weren't simply bits of gossip, since entertainer Bryshere just emerged to let the cat out of the bag on Diddy. And get this, he didn't actually come alone, in light of the fact that rapper YK Osiris and entertainer Orlando Brown additionally emerged. Get to back upper here with accounts of how they were additionally tried by Diddy. Rear is guaranteeing that Diddy and Will Smith purportedly constrained him into a few obscure circumstances that he certainly didn't pursue, and he is more than prepared to recount his side of the story, very much like Cassie. And different ladies who approached the reports about this have been flowing for some time, assuming that you've had your ears to the roads in light of the fact that around 2 weeks prior, a visually impaired thing let the cat out of the bag, implying that few young fellows in the business were planning to stand in opposition to Diddy, is on his fourth claim for misuse attack in addition to other things in the past late weeks. And there have been visually impaired things and reports that he has mishandled and attacked men too. Here is another visually impaired thing. I suspect the soon-to-step forward male casualty of Say by this elite tycoon won't be the last man to do so, and again, this is purportedly Shay Diddy Combs, so people have been scratching their head for a time, currently considering what in heaven's name happened to Bryshere and why he vanished from the business so unexpectedly. I mean, the person made them happen with Realm, and everybody anticipated that he should shake the business subsequent to leaving the show, yet no, as opposed to taking off higher than ever, he evaporated like a phantom, leaving all of us confounded and considering how he wrecked the enormous open doors that he goes. In the wake of dealing with Domain, well, turns out Bryshere's exit was definitely not a deliberate grow dim word on the road, is that he got boycotted by, in all honesty, Will Smith and Diddy. The Tattle Factory says it happened on the grounds that Bryshere attempted to pull out of a few problematic exercises they were pushing on him, exercises he never pursued, and in any case, yet Will and Diddy weren't having any of it. They weren't allowing him to leave scot-free, so they went all out, drop culture game on him. Now, you may be considering how in the world did Bryshere wind up in this wreck. Let me spill the origin story for you. Back when Bryshere was only a teen, he encountered Charlie Mack, an ability supervisor, Charlie being the associate connected Bryshere with a try for Domain. Bryshere nailed the tryout, scored the job, and before you know it, he's in law, featuring in the show with Charlie as his director. Much to his dismay, that was only the start of a wild, exciting ride in the business. Charlie and Ed up being the ideal chief for Bryshere on account of his crazy associations in Hollywood. The person resembled the plug connecting Bryshere for certain powerhouses in the business, including Will Smith Bryshere, and will become friends immediately. Nothing unexpected there, given Bryshere's executioner. On Domain, Will being the hotshot he is became something of a good example for Bryshere. They framed this tutor minty security that sounded very great on paper. I mean, who wouldn't need fellow from one of the business heavyweights, right? Well, reality turned out a piece different. Will thought Bryshere had potential in the rap game. Not acting amusing sufficient, Bryshere had consistently longed for being a rapper, not an entertainer. He just tried out for Domain since it was a music-driven show, and he figured it could support his rap profession. In addition to the Domain check was a decent reward, and he unquestionably required the money, so with Will as his guide they set up a gathering with Diddy was no joking matter in the creation world, and it appeared to be a once-in-a-lifetime chance for Bryce's vocation, or possibly it ought to have been. Thinking back, understanding what we know now about Diddy, and Will Smith warning ought to have been waving like insane. Yet hello, in those days nobody had an idea about the skeletons sneaking in Diddy and Will's storeroom for some setting. There have been reports for over 20 years that Diddy and Will Smith were on the DL. Numerous individuals in the business have blamed them for doing an unseemly things to different men in the business. For instance, Alexis Arquette, who knew Will on an individual level, spilled the tea that Will's most memorable union with Sherry Zampino finished on the grounds that Cher got him in bed with a man. Alexis composed when Jada emerges as gay and her whiskery spouse concedes his most memorable marriage finished when she strolled into him adjusting his friendly benefactor Benny Medina. Then I will pay at Inchon to them, she being his most memorable wife paid off. Quiet Alexis Arquette wasn't the one in particular who talked on Will, since Puma Wright likewise emerged to uncover that Will had illicit relationships with various more youthful men in the business she asserted that he professes to coach. The men, however, at that point he supposedly compels them into a relationship that leaves them damaged, and young fellows have gone out shouting to move away from them in their mentorship-compliant plan. Bryshere Dim went out shouting August the only one and remained, and I surmise he was truly wiped out. He wanted K9 in a tirade against Will's significant other Jada Trisha Piss, called Willow, for purportedly compelling her male artist to lay down with him. What about stress over your deceiving husband, my male artist? You know, when they would have rather not how discuss that. Additionally, do you all recollect when government specialists were investigating Diddy for supposedly doing an unspeakable thing to more youthful men in the business back in 2013? Reports that Diddy were being examined by bureaucratic organizations for laying down with youthful folks, as per reports during a post-op interview meeting with bureaucratic specialist James Roseman, the music administrator turned cocaine top dog, was purportedly interrogated regarding the inclinations of performers, including whether Shay Did Combs was having personal connections with underage young men, as per a U.S. local court documenting. Then came Cassie's sensation claim, and that was whenever we first genuinely got a brief look into the confidential universe of Diddy, and allow me to let you know it was anything but a lovely sight for reasons unknown. Diddy had a thing for male escorts, and Cassie spilled every one of the insights regarding a few truly wild capers that she got snagged into what Diddy liked to call oddity offs. It was like getting into a sticky situation, and it wasn't the great kind, as per Cassie. Diddy would recruit with these male escorts and coerce her into close experiences with them all. While he paused for a minute and partook in the show, he wasn't an observer either. Did he play chief, guiding her in how to do it during these purported free-off to add more fuel to the discharge? Diddy's protector Gene Bargain spilled his very own few beans. As per Gene, Diddy wasn't a spectator, he was a functioning member in the oddity offs. Gene proceeded to guarantee that Diddy even gave Cassie a shopping rundown to track down the ideal escort, yet it wasn't for her pleasure. It was totally supportive of Diddy fulfillment, and she say that in this claim that Diddy, he delighted in watching her get crushed by BBC. So you understand your opinion on that? Do you think she was the only one getting bang bombed? Do you think this man had this lady look for houris online only for them to have with her? And here's the scoop: Cassie wasn't the only one made up for lost time in Diddy's oddity off. Supposedly had a Additionally, had a few wild ventures with Will. Better believe it, you heard that appropriate for a really long time. There's been this humming gossip plants recommending that Will and Diddy were low-key involved and purportedly enjoying freak-offs for a very long time. The carrying a tattle's bit drifting around always, yet at first people disregarded it, feeling that Will and Jada were joyfully hitched, yet unexpected development. Turns out things weren't as sweet in the Smith family as we suspected. Ada herself let the cat out of the bag, uncovering that she and Will had truly been isolated for some time. Unexpectedly, the bits of gossip about Diddy and Will supposedly being something other than buddies got some decent momentum. It's like one of those stunning minutes.